Hey everybody, looks like we are live. It's great to see everybody. I hope everyone is having a great week. We made it to yet another Wednesday. Just going to move my phone out of the way. How is everybody doing today? So we have Patty all the way from Illinois. Great to see you. How are you, Patty? I am so glad you're here. It's so wonderful. So as you've seen in the video that I have on Facebook and Instagram, this is part 3, and we're going to be working on her skin tone. So basically she's wearing, clothes, and it's just going to be her face and her hands, and we're going to be using the Lifeline colors by Createx, my favorite paint company in the world, and we'll be using colors such as light olive gold. For her lips, we'll be using natural lip. For the darker colors, we're going to be using espresso and deep espresso. So these are colors that basically Createx actually helped us to actually begin our underpainting. So you can work strictly in these colors, but I like doing an underpainting and going over that with my Wicked colors. So that's really exciting. So let's see, we have Mr. Bobby all the way from Cape Cod. Great to see you. We have Roy Johnson, of course, all the way from New Jersey. Great to see Roy and Bobby and Patty. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with little old me. I appreciate that so much. And you see here I have my inks over here. And so that's pretty cool. So this is my India ink underpainting, and it's very important to have an India ink underpainting when working in color in my method. So, and I use these inks right there, and there's a link in the description, and they're on sale for $19.99. So I just made a whole bunch of them, so grab them while supplies last. Full set for $19.99. Oz, how's it going? How you feeling, my friend? All the way from Georgia. So glad you're here. How's everything going? So I also have my paint strainer, and so very excited. It's always when I go into color, it's always like exploring for the first time, you know? Colette, all the way from Wisconsin, how are you? It is so amazing to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. This is definitely glasses territory. Who am I kidding? And Oz is doing good. That is so great. Prayer works. And Mr. Bobby says he just sent you a message today about the inks. Oh, I didn't get it. Oh man, maybe was it an email, Mr. Bobby? Because I didn't get it, and that happens sometimes. Let's see. So, oh great. So, yeah, the inks are amazing. Just made a whole fresh batch of like 90. So they're ready to ship out. They're perfect, brand new. And Michael McClung all the way from Baltimore or the Maryland area. Great to see you. How's everything going? So glad you're here. What a great group we have here today. I am so blessed to have a great group like you all coming to hang out with me on Wednesday and watch me paint this lovely lady's face here. So doubly blessed. And so I basically want to cover her up the best I can and line up my stencil. And you want to use your small stencils as much as possible. So what I'm doing is, remember, you want to cover what you don't want to cover, and this way what's uncovered you paint. Mr. Dwayne, how's it going? It's so great to see you. San Luis Obispo, how's it going? How's the weather out there in South Central California? So I think that's great. I'm so glad you're here, Mr. Dwayne. So you are just an amazing addition to this live stream. your expertise on Wicked is just so valuable to everyone, including myself. And let's see, Mr. Bobby says he thinks it was from a Facebook page, but you just answered my question, so I'll have a message. Uh, oh, okay, great. The inks is amazing because it gives you more control than anything. So it's really going to help you with your airbrush development because the detail mixture is so thin, and you can lower that air pressure, giving you more control. You can get closer. Just make sure you lower that air pressure. And I have so many videos on the using the India inks that you're going to have a lot of information out there. So that's great. So as far as my India inks, I've been selling them for about 3 years, never had a return. Everyone's loved them. So that's really great. So it's a great product, and you know what? It really, really will help your control, and also, you know, you'll see just how important it is to have a really good underpainting, right? To get this detail. Mr. Brad, how's it going all the way from Manitoba? Great to see you, my friend. So glad you're here. So some great artwork coming from Mr. Brad Mummery. So that is just amazing. Okay, so what I did with this is, from last week, we pretty much did a lot of the of her. So during the week, I went ahead and you know, worked on the background, and I did an impromptu live stream. I think it was Saturday, and we went over it again last night. I went ahead and I did an airbrush. Actually, I went over it with a foam brush and a very light coat of clear shellac. And this has given me a surface, unlike the paper where it would absorb and kind of soak away the pigments. It will sit on there like a piece of wood or a piece of metal panel. So it's like a really wonderful surface to work with. So here we are. So first things first, we're going to work on the lightest colors. So I'm going to get my Pure Ref out, and there we go. Okay, so now I want to start working on the lightest colors. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start working on the lightest colors, and then from there I'm going to start working slightly darker as I go, and not doing detail just yet. Oh, great. So Bobby has a question. Oh, for the room, does anyone use a projector for transferring work? Oh, that's a great question. I know a lot of us use that. When I work bigger, I use a projector. Small sizes, I do a different method. So for the first, I am going to use a very light color, and it is going to be light natural. So look at this. This is light natural. And there it is. Tim Gore's Bloodline from Createx Light Natural. And we're going to shake this up really well. Did I use light natural yet? Yes, I did. So I'm going to do a 3-to-1. And I'm going to use 4011. And I'm going to do 3-to-1. Now this time I'm going to start saving them with these little bottles, and I'm going to be using labels like this. So I'll label the color and then I'll save it. This way you're not drawing paint out, right? So it's important not to draw the paint out. So we're going to look for my palette knife. What would Tim's live stream be without me looking for something? So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and shake this up. And we're definitely going to strain it this time. We're not tempting fate anymore. But see how it's a beautiful light color? And that's going to go great for the light skin tones. Not the highlights, but the lightest lights as far as local skin color. Oh, so Bobby says the closest I can get my projector from the desk is 38 inches and I can't get images small enough. Oh, then you may want to go with Saral paper when you're working small, Bobby. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and clean this out, and I'm going to get another cup, and I'm going to be like super thorough today because I don't want any kind of issues. So as far as clogging, so here I am. You can see I went ahead and strained this, and what I'm going to do is I'll be right back. I'm just going to clean this out, and I'll be right back. So I got a fresh set of paper towels. A lot of people say they don't like the Viva paper towels because they leave lint, but for my purposes, they seem to be just fine. You can use them for a long time, which I like. They're super absorbent. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start out with my Extreme Patriot Arrow, customized by myself. This is a Badger product, great airbrush to start with. And I customized it for myself to get really good detail. Hey Dan, how's it going? Great to see you. How are you today? Now Dan, let me see. Where is Dan from? Okay, Dan, I give up. Oh, so Dan, tell me where you're from. Indiana. Okay, go Irish. And so I do see ya. And so very cool. So Dan likes the Viva paper towels. I mean, I love them. I think they're great, right? Indianapolis. Very cool. Very cool. That's a really up-and-coming city, isn't it, Dan? So I'm so glad to see you, sir. And remember, last time I cleaned my airbrush, I thought it was great, but that doesn't mean it's great, so I'm always going to do a test spray. And I'm just going to get my paper here, and let's go ahead and put this. Now, the first color we're doing is this light natural from the Lifeline colors. Okay. Let's see, we're getting good spray. Oh, nice. Okay. All right, and I'm working very thin, right? So, and I'm going to lower my pressure. And here goes nothing. So thank you everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate you. You are all great and very important to me. I look forward to these Wednesday nights like you just don't know. All day. I'm like, got a live stream today. So that's very cool. Oh man, so do you ever have like your magnets being pulled to different metal things in your studio and you're like, where are my magnets? That's what's happening today. Mike says, Tim, the oil painting is looking awesome. Thank you, my friend. He's never seen you doing the oil painting before, even though I know you said you've been doing it for a long time. It just opened his eyes to a lot. Oh, that's great. Yes. And with your skills as an airbrush artist will give you such a head start over oil painters who have been doing it for many years. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to be putting this light down, this light color, and I'm going to be approximately about 3 inches away. And I'm going to go very lightly over the darker areas because you don't want the colors right next to each other. And oil painting is really, it's a lot easier than you think. It's just learning to get a handle on the thickness of the paint and the brushes and the mediums and everything. But once you do that, I know you're going to really enjoy it. And for doing landscapes and stuff, oils is just, you know, bar none the best for landscapes. So I'm so glad that it's opening up things for you. And that's my whole goal as an art teacher and doing this live stream, is opening up things for my friends. And I consider you all my friends. So I don't consider it, you know, like, oh, he's out of touch. I mean, I love you guys. I love my friends. So I'm here to, you know, help you out and inspire you. That's my thing, is to inspire you all. And I have all this training, right? Not just in airbrush. Well, I wasn't trained in airbrush. I did take two workshops with Jonathan Pantaleone, which was instrumental. The man is an airbrush genius. So on her lips, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go over her lips with this light natural color, just because I'm going to need that when I'm coming in with the red to make sure that I get the translucency I'm looking for. So so that's the reason why I do that. So you see how I'm kind of slowly building with the Createx. So I have my airbrush and India ink underneath with the 50/50 illustration white, but I shellacked over it. And that's creating a framework that I can't lose the drawing. So that's why I do it. And so really, very interesting, my approach. And let's see right here. And let's see right here. The mental fat compartment right there. Move this aside. So very cool. So we had already 17 concurrent viewers today, so that's fantastic. Everyone, thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate that. And so when we're doing tight detail, we want to make sure there we go. See, that was really tricky right there at the philtrum. Real tight detail. So we'll just continue this right here. Okay, so right here, the wing of the nostril. We'll lighten that up. Getting ready for the other color, right? Lightening that up just a tad. Just getting ready. Keeping things dark that need to be dark, but lightening things up, getting ready for the next layers of Createx's Lifeline set by Tim Gore. And this is what we're going to do to kind of make this happen. Now, I'm not going to come in with the dark colors just yet. I'm going to move on over to her hand. So I'll just pull these up. And like I said, no detail just yet. I'm just going to go back and forth. This is basically a flesh tone live stream. You know, how you can use the Lifeline colors that are already mixed for you, because the great people at Createx know that, you know, flesh color is not always the easiest things to paint. So this is a great set that's available to everyone. So you can see I just lightened it up a little bit, getting ready for the next colors. So I have to find her hand. You know what? I had the hand. Show me the hand. Talk to the hand. That's what they said, right? Talk to the hand. And let's see. There's her hand. All right, we're in good shape. Okay, so we'll bring over the hand, and we're gonna hit her hand with this same color, this beautiful light natural. Okay, that fits absolutely perfectly. Here we go, and just move this over. So, who out there wants to be part of this week's community member art showcase? Last week was Brad Mummery. The week before that was Mr. Michael McClung. Any volunteers? Next victim? Let me know. And if not, that's cool too. So no pressure. But I just want to have an opportunity to give your work some exposure. Nick, how's it going? Great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Nick, are you from the Boston area? Or New York State, I think. Let me see. New York State? I'm thinking New York State. Mr. Air Todd, how's it going? Minnesota, the great state of Minnesota. So glad you're here, Nick. Thanks so much for coming by. Mr. Air Todd, how's it going? Great to see you. And Mike says, Tim on the India ink, can you do 40-50 over the top of it to lock it in place like you do with the shellac? When I go over it with the shellac, I do change it, so I don't think you want to ever clear the ink if you're working on a solely ink painting. But I know you would be able to do 40-50 over it and then use that as like a layer on top of it. You definitely can do that, although I haven't done it. But Mr. Steve Leahy, how's it going? Great to see you. So glad to see you all the way from, right now from Massachusetts, hailing out of Ohio. So great to see you, sir. What an honor. So yeah, Mr. Steve, perhaps you can answer. Ryan, how's it going all the way from Canada? Thanks for the super chat, my friend. How's everything up there? Working hard? And, you know, it's always great to see you and your friendship. And thank you so very much for the support, the super chat. I really appreciate you. And thank you for your friendship more than anything. So, Steve, I know you did the Airbrush India ink. Did you ever do 40-50 on top of the Airbrush India ink? And if so, Steve, how did it go? Oh no, Mr. Dwayne is having a brownout. I had that about 3 months ago, you know, in my old place, and that was weird. It was like my house was like haunted. Like everything was actually really dim and certain things worked and certain things didn't. It was really strange. So I'm praying your brownout is going to be over soon. All right, so we have the hand covered. And now we're going to go ahead and hit some of those light areas of the hand. And once again, many a woman have told me, Tim, talk to the hand. So let's go ahead and talk to the hand. Okay, we're going to start with her index finger. So basically, remember what Steve Leahy says, paint loves to go on top of paint. So that's what we're doing, kind of, you know, laying down the paint so the other colors can go right on top of it really nice. But really paying attention to all the hard work that I did over the weekend and last week during the live stream. So once again, the lifeline colors, that's what I'm doing as my initial layers, sort of my color underpainting, which goes over my black and white underpainting. And I'm going to lightly go over the darks because it may... Ryan, how's it going all the way from Michigan, how's everything, my friend? It's so great to see you. Ryan's doing this really great skull from the Drew Blair, from one of the Drew Blair projects. It's looking amazing. So great work, Ryan. Really amazing. And then right here we're going to work on. So I'm kind of lightening up the hand because when we are going to go over it with a deeper reddish flesh tone, we're going to get that. Remember, a transparent only works over an opaque if you're doing glazes, and that's pretty much how I'm doing it. Oh, listen to this. So Steve said that he used 4051 satin on it. It locks it down hard and gives a matte finish on the paper. You wouldn't be able to remove things like pencil. Oh, that's great. So it works like the shellac. Thank you, my friend. So, see, guys like, Dwayne and Steven on the live stream, they give so many great information. They are the wicked veterans. They have so much information. Ryan says, is that like the Drew Blair Witch Project? Oh, the Blair, that's pretty funny, Blair Witch. I remember that movie, never seen it though. Very cool. Oh, Mr. Bobby says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Bobby, I appreciate you. So I'm just going to very lightly, let's see. So I'm lightly going over the whole hand, right? So like we say that, paint likes to go on paint, right? And Dwayne says he likes to use that of the Trans Wicked base. Oh, very cool. To use that or Trans Wicked base. Ooh, that sounds amazing. Transparent Wicked base. Wow. So you see how I'm lightening the lights, but I'm also going over the darks and setting up, right? And that's it. I know the values and everything like that, so that's cool. So I think that's it, unless I can go maybe a little bit lighter on this digit here. A little bit lighter here. It's good to kind of do a hierarchy of values at this point. And then I can glaze darker colors over it. So this is like where my airbrush work, my airbrush work helps the oil painting, like in the painting I'm working on the other live stream. And then my oil painting is helping my airbrush work, because now I'm thinking of glazing, which is an airbrush oil painting technique that I've been doing since I was a little kid. So I was oil painting since I was 14. No, maybe 13. So definitely love it. But it's all connected. Pigment is pigment. That's all it should be. Paint is paint. Pigment is pigment. Whether you're working in oils or egg tempera, airbrush, it's all pigment. You're just playing with pigment. And so Steve said he started using a transparent base. Great stuff. Look at that information we're getting over here. Incredible. Worth the price of admission. So you see how we're kind of starting that? Now we're going to go back to her face, because now I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and do a coat over everything here. Kind of like a dusting. But isn't it great the way that color is? It's like white, but it isn't white. Let's see, we'll just put this right over here. I just want to go over the dark just a little bit, so the darker colors will have something to kind of hold on to, right? So I love that. So when I'm doing something like the face, I'm not worrying about anything else lining up, just what I want, because when you work, your original freehand stencils are not going to fit, because you're changing things, hopefully, right? Hopefully you're like, oh, I want to change this contour. I want to make this chin a little bit bigger. You know, different things that you do to kind of ad lib, so to speak. And Mr. Dwayne says he feels like using it. It does great between layers and taping, and also it makes the paint even more transparent. Wow, I got to try that stuff. Thank you. And so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to dust this very lightly. And like I said, just kind of have some paint for the other colors to kind of go on to. We're going to let that dry, and now we're going to go with our next color. And our next color is going to be, dun dun dun, I believe we're going to go with light olive gold. And this is a nice darker color. I'm going to refer to my painting, of course. But I think light olive gold is going to be nice to kind of get that mid-tone, right? You're going to be pretty much working in D values right now. So let's go ahead and shake this bad boy up here. So once again, light olive gold, which is by Createx and is part of the Lifeline colors, and the Lifeline colors are part of the Bloodline. So very cool, very cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put it straight in here in my strainer. See how cool that is? So that's really fantastic. And now I'm also going to do 3-to-1 because it seems to be serving me so far. Nick says it's just like DBC 500 or SG 100, basically a colorless base coat. Very cool. All this great information. So Steve said he just started using the transparent base. Very nice. So here goes light olive gold. Hold on to your hat. This seems pretty thick out of the bottle. And so you see but it's nice because we got any of the little things in there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put this right here like so. We're going to take this and I'm going, before I clean anything, let's 3-to-1 it. So 4011 used to be 2-to-1, now it's 3-to-1. So I'm 4011ing it 3-to-1. Okay. And now we're going to mix this up like the Dickens. Really mix this up. And let's see, so it's just Wicked without any pigment. How cool is that? But I love the pigment. Okay, so look at that. Beautiful, thin, unlike myself. I'm not beautiful or thin, but this is beautiful and thin. So let me go ahead and get my little makeshift paint thing. I'm going to go ahead and spray this in there. I'm going to run some water through it. Let's see, some agua caliente. Nope, just regular agua. Now, I'm going to try and tempt fate as long as possible to see if I can continue spraying without, like, giving it a good spray. Okay. Now I'll just take my said paper towel. Skim milk. How cool is that? I'm trying to go and, so I'm going to put some of that in my airbrush right now. And what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to show you my little thing that I'm doing now, right? So I mix quite a bit of this stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write this down. Whoop. Not over my painting. light olive gold, 3 to 1, 4011 reducer. Today's date, 1/31. So I'm just going to show you guys what this technique is, you know, not wasting paint. You know, I just don't want to waste paint. And waste not, want not, they say. So let me just put this over. And now what I can do is take this stuff and put it in here very carefully. And of course I'm probably going to spill it. So I like these little ones because the big ones kind of like swim in it. So this is half full. And I'm going to throw this away. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to get my little stopper top somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And I'll just cover it. And now I have this for later. So if I want to go back later in the painting, I already have it reduced and ready to go, which is cool. So that's good. And I can also put a BB in there, but I forgot. But I do have the BBs, which work. So what I'm going to do is first clean this up, and we'll be back to paint the light olive gold. So I'm glad I'm able to save the paint as opposed to having all this. Oh, Mr. Dwayne with the super chat. Thank you, my friend. It sounds great. Thank you for your generosity of your knowledge, your friendship, and also your support. You are amazing. From San Luis Obispo. Can't wait to see more of your work. You're just an amazing artist with just decades of experience. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your friendship and your support, my friend. And thank you for being part of this community. It really is so important to me. And most importantly, thank you for your friendship, sir. And so let's see what I missed. Scuff after 48 hours like you do 40/50. Oh, wow, look at all that great information. Okay, so now we have the light olive gold in there. I'm going to see what this stuff does. What does it do? That's the question. Okay, so we're going in with a little bit more of a fleshy kind of color because we're working light to dark, right? You want to do that. And just kind of building up the darks. Dwayne says, always have a good time here, so just a little token of my appreciation. It's a big token. Thank you, sir. It's really amazing. I appreciate that so much. So right now I'm just going to just start putting in some of this darker light olive gold here. And you got to watch out for these high profile magnets. They leave a shadow. So you'll think that, you know, there's a dark there, but it's just the magnet kind of giving a shadow. And there we go. See how I'm just ever so lightly. I know it's kind of, you know, a little bit of trepidation, but it's just from experience. Just build up your flesh colors slowly, right? That's what we have to do. But I'm getting a nice flow. Thank God. I think it's because I'm being so so crazy about the straining of the paints. So it can't hurt. I have a very clean airbrush that's working correctly. So it's all about Sun Tzu in the Art of War. Best defense is not to be there, right, guys? So that's basically the thought processes. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this light olive gold where the darks will be. But as Mr. Leahy says, paint likes paint. And don't worry about going over the dark like the hair. That's something that's so easy to fix. So don't worry about that. There we go. Now there's always flesh in lips. So we're going to put some flesh in her lips. Remember that. That's my oil painting tip of the day. Always flesh in the lips. I studied some amazing oil painters. Harvey Dinnerstein, Ron Scher, George Passantino, Max Ginsberg, Irvin Doctor. Just some amazing oil painters. Daniel Chard. I mean, the list goes on and on. I studied with Harvey for 3 years. Erwin Greenberg I studied with 3 years. Studied 1 year with George Passantino. Crazy. So a lot of information that I bring from the oil painting world into here. So let's go ahead and bring some of that light olive goodness over to her hand. Let's dust over this, just a cautionary dusting. And this is very similar to like a lot of oil painters would do, just glazes on glazes, going from your light to your dark, you know. Mr. Brad Mummery for the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure. I really enjoy your friendship, enjoy working with you for 4 years. Just a great artist and a great friend, and thank you so much for your support and being part of this community. It wouldn't be the same without you. So thank you so much. It's just very, I'm just very, very appreciative of you and also your great gift. So thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. Now, what we're going to do, Mr. Brad, from Manitoba, is we're going to do the same treatment of her face and bring it down here. And notice that we're using the stencils. We're going darker slowly. And things are really starting to kind of gel. I'm not losing any detail because I'm going so light, right? So remember, I'm not losing detail. I'm painting transparent, and that's the whole reason why I have the underpainting to begin with. If I went opaque, things would really just be like starting over, and I don't want to start over. So remember, light and opaque, that's how we begin with color. So remember that, and you know, just gradual, right? You'll get there when you get there. Don't worry about how fast. And so we're going to be working on her beautiful hand once more. And so that's really cool. And let's see. So we want to make sure that we don't want too much flipping and flopping of the freehand shield. Now, freehand stencil. I'm going to drink some more of my beverage here. 18 concurrent viewers. Thank you, my friends. I hope I'm doing something right. Got a lot of people here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So now it's time to go ahead and bring in the light olive gold, and we're going to go over the light primarily. Beautiful. So now we're getting some flesh, you know, we're really getting that flesh color down. So first I'm gonna handle the lights, and then I'm gonna dust the darks, right? So rather than overbuild, I'd rather start with the lights, get them taken care of, and then lightly go over the darks, rather than go over everything and then go heavier with the lights. No, I don't want to do that. So my PSI is 25 PSI, and with my Extreme Patriot Arrow, I have the pack valve, so I kind of bring that down even more. So for all intents and purposes, with the flow and, you know, constricting the flow with the pack valve, I would say we're at about maybe 18 PSI. Because I need that control, right? It's definitely. Now, the next two things is a laptop and a Cameo 4. Oh man, that's going to be great. Before you do that stuff, you let me know, because I can help you with that, Michael, okay? I could get some, compare prices for you, and get you to, and help you find the best deal on the Cameo 4. Unless you have your own connection, and that's cool too, but. So there you go. See how I still have, I still can see the transparency, but now I'm kind of working it, right? So now I think I'm happy with the hand. Talk to the hand, Tim. Okay, so now we are going to, oh, Patty says I need to get some shut-eye. She's coming along beautifully. Thank you, Patty. And you have a great week. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a great night and stay warm and don't work too hard. Okay, Patty? That's important. Make sure you don't work too hard. I'm going to go back to the face. See how we're just slowly building up that hand, right? See how we're doing that? Very lightly. We're not worrying about anything else around. We're just focusing on the color underpainting, right? So that's just so important. Okay, back to the face. And I'm going to enjoy painting her lips. I love painting lips. Okay. Let's see, so we go right here. Now we're going to start coming in a little bit darker. But what a beautiful color underpainting we begin with. So very neat. Let's make sure we get this contour down. So how many out there love Thai food? I like Thai food. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I really enjoy it. How many hands out there for Thai food? I like what they do with rice, and I like their pad Thai. That's really good. Haven't had Thai food in a while. I guess I'm kind of craving it right now for some reason. But yeah, pad Thai is really great. So everyone's wishing Miss Patty a great night, because Patty is great. And Michael says, what is it, 60 or 80 pound paper, Steve Leahy? Interesting. So on the paper that Steve Leahy uses, I think he uses Yupo paper. But I know there's a pound to it, right? Is that true? Or is that for the printer paper? All right, so now we'll go over here. Now for me, on this paper, I always use 185 pound paper, 300 GSM. The thicker the better, definitely. And Dwayne says one of his faves. Very cool. And so now we have this down, and we are going to, let's go ahead and save this color. I'm going to make a little bit more of it. So remember the first color we did, so we may need that in the past, and we may need that in the future. We're not going back in the past, at least not until I get that machine down, you know. The purple pad, oh, 144 pounds, yeah. Anything less than that, I think would be too thin. So I'm just going to do a little 3-to-1 action here. And then I'm going to take this and put it in a bottle. So this way I'll have my flesh colors to go back to, which is really great. Oh my God, Mr. Dave Gregory! How are you, sir? All the way from Oklahoma. Thank you for the amazing, super generous super chat. You are amazing. Thank you so much for your friendship. Thanks for coming by always. I mean, it's always an honor to see you. And you're just a great friend. And, you know, and you just give me that shot in the arm, you know, with your generosity and your gift. So thank you so much, my friend. Mr. Dave Gregory, just amazing. And how's everything going with the kids and everything? Hope everything is fine. And Dave says, fighting the good fight. Thanks for sharing as always, Tim. With great people like yourself, it's an honor to share. So I appreciate you so much. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, it just really encourages me. Something super. It's just so great. Thank you there, sir. I just want to say thank you again, and thank you for your friendship, you know? Thank you. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to see, I put a little bit more because I'm going to need this for later, and I 311'd it, 3-to-1. So I'm going to get my paper, and I'm going to mark it, so this way I'm not wasting paint at the end of the night. And that's so important. So this is going to be, let me see here. You got to make sure my pen works. Light, natural, 3-to-1, 4011. And today's date, it is 01/31/24. And Dave says, we're good looking towards what's next. Yes. And I pray that what's next, it goes beyond your expectation and wildest dreams for success and happiness. That's for sure. So I'm going to put a BB in this one because I'm thinking ahead. And now I'm going to take this. And I'm actually going to think ahead again. I'm going to put a napkin under here, and we're going to see how we do. Look at that. So with these smaller 15mm cups, that's a good size, right? I mean, not too much. So now I could go ahead and put the top on. And now I have this saved. So I hope this live stream helps you guys and girls know that you don't have to, you know, waste the paint at the end of the night. You know, you might be a little bit too little, and then you can just like add some, like I just did. So you have, so, you know, you're going to need them later, right? So that's important. And Dave says, evening, Mr. Leahy, very cool. Oh yeah, Mr. Leahy, he's doing some great stuff over there in Facebook, and also tomorrow on his live stream. I believe it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on Facebook, Mr. Leahy. Just incredible. I learned so much from Steve Leahy's live streams. Just so incredible. Let's see. So now, I always come away with more information. So now look how cool this is, everybody. So it's not just technique we're learning about being frugal with our paint. So we have our light natural, we have our light olive, and so we are set for later. So important, you know. We're all on a budget, right? We all, you know, don't want to waste paint, and, you know, and we want to go back to the paint that we have. And once it's airtight like this, the illustration paint is good forever, you know. Well, not forever, but I have illustration paint like this, which is from 2013, and I just used it this week. How amazing is that, right? So Let's see. Michael McClung says on Steve Leahy's live feed, always gets my eyes a good workout. Definitely, definitely. And Steve says it's always good to have you there, Dave. Oh, fantastic. Always. And Dwayne says you almost never get a chance to catch Mr. Leahy. Different time zones, definitely. So, but Steve sometimes he kind of switches it up, so that's cool. So, yeah, Steve's live stream is really fantastic. So now I do have the light olive, and we want to go even darker. So how are we going to go darker with this? So let's see. So I have them all lined up here, and so we have a light olive gold, we have a olive gold, and let's go with deep olive gold, right? Let's just go ahead and start hitting some of those darks, or maybe we can go with look at this. This is a deep natural. We have that, and we can slowly build up. That's too slow. I would say we can probably go with our deep olive gold, and let's do that. So we're going to go with deep olive gold. Now we're going a little bit darker. So I'm gonna pull out the big guns, which is my Extreme Patriot, my customized Extreme Patriot 105 with the big. But since I'm going darker, you know, I'll keep one airbrush for the dark, one airbrush for the light, which is great. And so that's cool. All right, so let's 4011 this. 4011 used to be 2-to-1, now it's going to be 3-to-1. So, did I use this color yet, deep olive gold? We will find out. Let's see. I did. Okay. So let's make this happen. I did not strain it, but I'll strain it before I put it in the airbrush. Okay, so let's you know, we want to use more of this, so I'm going to put more so I can save it for later. And we'll do our 3-to-1 stuff that we love to do, or at least I love to do. And okay, so remember, face, hand, that's how we're going to do it today. And my next gun, oh, it's going to be an honor. You're going to love it. You know, you would think with the bigger cup you might not get the same detail, but you get the same crazy detail as you do with the Extreme Patriot Arrow. But it's so nice to have that larger cup. You know, if you're ever doing backgrounds, I sometimes work large, not on live streams, on my own, right? I'll work large and in charge. So now I have this, and I'm going to strain it. So we have my paint strainer. And again, I'm just being extra careful. We're going to strain this. There we go. Great. Now, I don't really see it. The illustration colors, I don't get a lot of little chunkies in there, but this is a relatively new set. So let me go ahead and wash this out, and I'll be right back. And we'll put that in the Extreme Patriot 105. Be right back. So in this aspect, especially going in with color, I'm going to be a little more play-by-play today for those who color is scary, right? So if I go play-by-play, I think it would help out a lot. So bear with me, those who are new to color. Maybe they haven't used a lifeline before. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. So get this one right here. And once again, I'm basically profiling my Extreme Patriot Arrow and the Airbrush India ink set, which I did the underpainting with. And they're on sale $19.99. Michael McGlung, thank you so much, my friend. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for hanging out, being part of our community, and it's just so amazing. You know, it's great to be your friend and to look at your artwork. You inspire me, and I know you inspire everyone else in this community and the airbrush community as a whole. So that is just so fantastic. Thank you for your friendship, and thank you for your support, Mike. It is so appreciated, and I appreciate you, sir. So I'm so glad to know you. And Mr. Dave says got back on a couple of my brushes this past weekend. Oh, that's great! First time since July. And you think you based off the mess he had cleaned them? Oh, you had to clean them out, left good paint to them again. Oh, wow, that happens, right? And that is just really rough when that happens. So, what were some of the things you did to clean it out, Dave? So that's really cool. I was trying to slide it in while you were away. Ah, thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. Great generosity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. I don't want to use too much because I'm not going to use much. So I'm just going to put a little bit in. You know, a little bit goes a long way with this stuff, especially with the gravity feeds. Right, Mr. Leahy? Gravity feed, you know, just a little bit. I see you just put a couple of drops and you're spraying away like unbelievable. So everything is like super strained. It's brand new paint. So it's like a perfect storm in the good way. And I really like the control that we get when everything is kind of firing on all cylinders. Isn't that the best? Yes, gravity feeds are great. I love gravity, you know? And all right, so now we have this darker one, darker color. Again, what color is this? Deep olive gold. So the colors we used at first was light natural, then it was light olive gold, and now it's deep olive gold, and we're going light to dark. Very much like a watercolor painter would. We're going to go back over these, but we're going to start our kind of color underpainting, right? And Nick says it's probably the only thing he misses with using solvent-based paint is being able to clean your brush you forgot to clean. Yeah. The solvent just eats it right up, right? That's amazing. Dwayne says he's not a fan of siphon feeds. I could imagine all that extra PSI you need, right? And Dave says it was Createx, lots of hot water and patience. Wow. Yes. I mean, that's, but are they up and running and in good shape? That's great, because that's a feat in itself, right? So I'm going to lower my PSI just a little bit with the, not the PSI, but the strength of the air. And so now I'm just ever so lightly just darkening it with this deep olive gold. And just slowly deepening, slow, right? And ammonia, David says, for the real tough parts. Wow. And Nick says 4008. I think I have some 4008. Yes. There it is, right? 4008. The airbrush spray gun. That's really good. The spray gun cleaner. Very cool. Oh, that's great. So cool. Big fan of Restore, Dwayne says. That's so cool. I mean, I'm so happy that, you know, I decided to work with Createx, the great people at Createx, and how much they are dedicated for us airbrush artists. And, you know, they got my vote, you know. I mean, they care. So how could we not care, right? So, and then now we're coming in with this, and it's giving us this really nice, slowly darkening our colors. And we don't want to overdo it, so we're just going to go slow, right? Slow and steady. And Nick says he probably have at least 60 used siphon feed, wow, paint guns from his dad that he never cleaned. Oh my God. Wow, have you ever thought of cleaning them and using them? That's a lot of work. Oh my goodness. Your dad was a t-shirt painter? And Dwayne says siphon feeds are such a pain to clean. Wow, I did not know that. Why are they more difficult, I may ask. See how I'm just slowly building? And remember, be careful of those magnets that are casting a shadow on your artwork. You're going to think that you painted that in, but it's just a cast shadow from the magnet. So you got to be careful. Oh, those jars, yes. And so 60 used siphon feed. That is so cool. You can open up an online store, Steve's Used Siphon Feed Airbrushes.com. Hey, I might be giving you a business idea. See how we're just slowly, and right here, the negative space between the hairs, we can go ahead and kind of work that with this dark here. And we can erase this, which is good, so that's a thought. And again, this is just the underpainting, right? So it's nothing really, you know, we're not doing any big decisions here. We're just doing a color underpainting. Gonna work on the nasolabial fold. Hey, I have this great control of the airbrush recently cleaned, right? Let's just go for it. And Nick says his dad was a bodyman custom painter, and he did body work and paint on a car that won the Riddler Award in the 80s. If you know, I don't know what that means, but I'm already impressed. And Steve Leahy says, Dwayne, I hate to waste, but I have thrown those things out rather than cleaning them. Wow, look at that. So, Mr. Leahy, you have used in the past, you have used siphon feed, because I haven't seen you do that, but you have a long airbrush career. So, did you do t-shirts at one time, Mr. Leahy? And how about you, Dwayne? Have you done t-shirts or body work in Nick's dad's case? And Nick, so you followed in your dad's footsteps. That's amazing. Nick, did you work with your dad? Because that would be cool. I wish I worked with my dad. I never got to. That would have been great. You know? Think about, like, I could have spent more time with him and seen him, you know, at work. That would have been great. I'm actually going to come in a little darker even. So then I'll come in with my orange and white mixture, right? And then I'll kind of work it, go back and forth and stuff like that. You know, if you know my MO. But right now we're just kind of, you know, starting the flesh, right? That's all we're doing. And no t-shirts, Mr. Leahy says, but siphon seeds are great for big areas. Mr. Steve says he'll be right back. Okay, take your time, my friend. And I know, you know, Steve's always working like me. He's always, the midnight oil is always on the burning, you know. You know, it's like me. If I stop, I get nervous, you know, so I just keep going. And I know you all are like that, you know, out there. So not bad, right? You know, not great, but it's a good beginning. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start coming in with my darker colors and use some of my freehand stencils and kind of go in there and kind of get some. So right now I'm losing some clarity, but I'm doing that on purpose to kind of get the overall feeling of the color, right? So, and so now I'm going to come in with this dark olive gold once again. So we'll bring back the stencil because today's basically just about doing a flesh underpainting. And I could always worry about the detail later, you know. Dwayne says used a scuba tank for air. That is cool. Nick says he won in '84. The car was a 34 Ford called the Chrome Shop Special. He also did body work on a car called Frankenstewed. Like a Studebaker, huh? That's amazing. Mr. Leahy is back. Perfect. So glad you're back, sir. And so just great information from just all the experience you guys have. Cleaning airbrushes, you know, your dad working on getting those awards. And I'm sure you learned so much, Nick, from your dad, huh? I'm the only one in my family who's a painter. You ever read The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell? And he says, like, stuff like your dad being a painter creates you, it helps you to be an outlier, which is like more advanced than the average. And you stand out because your parents doing it, it's like your second or third generation and you have this head start, you know. It was a Studebaker designed by Tom Taylor. That's amazing. That's really great. And Mr. Leahy, I know his family is a lot of, your family are a lot of musicians, and I think your dad was an engineer or a drafter. Did drafting or something like that. So I can see your dad's influence on your work, definitely. Okay, so now we're going with the hand again. So we're going to hit some of these dark areas. Let's see. We don't want underspray. Underspray is never good, right? So let's go ahead and kind of hit those darks. And again, you know, you don't want the shadows. The shadows will look terrible. So you don't want the shadows of the magnets thinking that you have a shadow there and you don't. And right here. And there we go. So now we're just kind of just molding like her face, you know. There we go. There we go. So today's the last live stream of January, huh? Did January, was it a blur? Because that was like a blur. Like, where did it go, right? I mean, January was here a second ago. Now tomorrow is February. I'm just going to start hitting some of the darks in between her fingers. And just, like I said, this is just a color underpainting. And we work from light to dark. So once again, if you just joined us, we're doing all the Lifeline colors by Createx. So we started out with light natural, then we went with light olive gold, and now we're doing deep olive gold. And after this, we'll start kind of working with the color, manipulating stuff, that kind of thing. Not worrying about anything with detail. We're so far away from finishing the painting that we're not thinking of any kind of finish at this point. Just working on the large areas. And so that's the most important thing. just keeping everything, just looking at the big picture. So think of it like playing chess, right? When you're playing chess, you want to set up your pieces, and then you go for the main attack. But in the beginning, you're just kind of setting up. And I'll even come back in with Airbrush India inks and kind of reestablish some of the darks, which is very cool. And oh, optical engineer, night vision. That is really cool. Did he work for the government, Mr. Leahy? That's amazing. Your dad was really cool. Nick says he learned a lot of ways to not to do things the way automotive repair industry has changed the past 30 years with technology. He was very old school, and I did learn a lot of the lost arts. Yes, that's it. You know, it's like I'm finding, like going into the old masters, I'm finding some of the, just by accident, tripping over some of the things I feel the old masters really did. They must have done. And that's part of like going into the secrets. I think it was Beethoven, and it is a quote, but not verbatim. He says, you know, paint every day and you will paint every day and or work at your craft every day and she will reveal her secrets. And I think that's true. When you go and you work, the secrets will be revealed to you. And I also say that inspiration happens when we are at the easel, so to speak. So that's where it really happens. And so you see how I just kind of darkened her. Now I'm going to actually go in with her lips. Maybe I'll do some eyes, nose, and mouth. So what I'm thinking is, since I have this dark in the airbrush, I'm going to remove it, but I'm going to make this again. So let me see. Let me remove her. So there we go. See how the flesh is very slowly coming? But I'm going to get some of my stencils for the eyes, nose, and mouth, my freehand stencils that I drew out and made stencils out of them. So kind of put some body back in, a little bit of detail, and then, you know, make sure I don't lose the underpainting. You don't want to lose it. I want to stay very, very, you know, large, thinking of the large shapes, but I don't want to lose a detail in the process. Dwayne says the old masters use a lot of foot pedal to powder the airbrush. Yeah, that's true. Hey, James, how's it going? Nick says he has an issue of Street Rodder, May 1984. Wow, that's amazing. And that's, oh, you might see Nick's dad in there. Ryan says, that's silly, Dwayne. They just drew a straw with a mouth. That's funny, Ryan. That's true. You know, I always wondered what it would be like if Rembrandt had an airbrush, right? What would it be like? What would happen with that? So we're going to stick with the eyes, nose, and mouth today, right? I want to. So we're going to do this all, you know, pragmatic, right? Pragmatic and slow. Slow and steady wins the race. And so I'm going to look for this freehand stencil that I made. And this will kind of bring back some of the detail in her eyes, nose, and mouth. So see that as I made that? So we'll put that there. But we're going to continue with our saving of the paint, right? Save the paint, because we're going to need these colors later in the painting for touch-up, going back and forth, repeating some areas. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to get this out here, and we're going to call this Deep Olive Gold, because that's what it is. Deep Olive Gold. Let me know if you guys, next week, if you try this. Deep Olive Gold. Isn't it cool that I'm not drawing any paint out? Deep Olive Gold, and 3 to 1, 4011, and the date 1/31/2024. Okay, so here we'll get our bottle. And so I made these on my, I made these blank labels on my silhouette. If you don't have a silhouette or a Cricut, you're just going to love it. And, you know, once you have it, you're going to realize if you don't have it, you'll go out and buy another one. It's that important in my studio. I mean, super important, like mega important. So now we have this all set and ready to go. I'm going to dump this out. What's in my airbrush. Even though I didn't put a lot in, we still can save this. The airbrush has a little lip, so that's making life a little difficult. So I'm just going to pour it into my big cup for now. And then I'm going to take my big cup. Let's stir it up a little bit first. Dwayne says, I actually dipped a coffee straw in the paint and blew it for effect. Wow, how did that go? I would love to see it. And Steve Leahy says he loves the Radium Girls story. Scary stuff. So what's the Radium? That sounds pretty interesting. Michael says back in the day he painted a special truck for a person that he knows for a custom auto show and got first place in Maryland. That's amazing. Congratulations, my friend. That is just super cool. Let's see here. Yes, I just got a clarification that Ludwig van Beethoven, the quote is, don't only practice your art, but force your way into its secrets, for it and the knowledge can raise men to the divine. Oh, wow, that's really great. Thank you so much, Colette, for clarifying that for me. I really appreciate you, Colette. And so just some great community, you know, so everyone's so supportive and everything. So thanks, Colette. Let's see. I'm pouring in the deep olive gold, so I'll have it for later. And the 15mm bottles are fantastic because I'm not wasting anything. And it doesn't have too much air, so that's why I think I like it. Okay, put that in there. And now I'm going to get a BB. And the BBs, courtesy of Mr. Leahy, he told me about these BBs. Thank you. These are slingshot BBs. And let's put a slingshot BB in there. Drop that bad boy in there. And okay, so yeah, I know I'm being like, but think about it, just a few minutes here and there and you get to enjoy the paint and you didn't throw it away. So it's just taking a few minutes here and there will save you money and just, you know, not wasting paint. So, and then you have your pre-diluted paint, in my case the 4011 for later. Let's go ahead and put that there. And there we go. So all the paints that we used today, light natural, light olive gold, and deep olive gold. So we have them for later. So fantastic. Okay, so let's see. So Mr. Leahy says we were talking about lead poisoning from Paint 2018 movie about girls that were hired to paint watch dials with radium paints. Oh my God. And they would point out the brushes with their own, with their mount, and got horribly sick. So sad. Wow. And so let me see. Oh, AirTod has the Cricut Circuit Explorer 2. Perfect. And sprayed Windex on his stuff. Fantastic. And Michael says he was thinking about them water bottle fans that people use in the summertime. Oh my God. And Dwayne says he used He uses anything at his disposal to get textures and effects, and that would be at what household items work quite well. I heard people mix future floor wax in the day. Has anyone tried that uh, to thin it out? So that's interesting, right? That kind of blows my mind. So I'm going to clean out this airbrush. And what's the movie called, Steve? Wow. And who hasn't a bitter glow stick? Oh my, bite the glow stick. Does that have poison in it? Man, that's so scary. Let me put some water in here and we'll go into our next color. And I think I'm going to start a little bit with some Wicked paint. Wicked Detail Sepia. I love that color. I'm going to hit some of the darks with that. And let me just spray a little more through that. And I know you all know this, but I did not recently. Just make sure that the top of your airbrush cup is clean, because that will mix with your next color. So you don't want to do that. Radium girls, wow, poor babies. Dwayne says the floor wax was more of a gloss and a hardener thing, popular with model guys when acrylics were new. Oh man, such great info. So that is really wild. Okay, so we are going to bring out, now we're not going to use a lot of it, just a little bit. So we're going to our detail line and we are going to look for Detail Sepia. And I know this is a favorite of Mr. Dwayne loves Detail Sepia. And we're not going to do too much of this. We'll just put some in here. And I'm definitely going to go, it's a little thicker, so I'm going to go 4:1 with the 4011 today. Here we go. And let's get this, I spilled 4011, but not the paint, so that's cool. But a little bit got on the floor. Actually, not a bad, I mean, it could have been bad, but relatively unscathed. Thank God. God is helping me tonight. All right, so, oh, a little more 4011. We lost 4011. We didn't lose paint, so let's go back there. All right, now, let's go ahead and, I'm going to put a little bit of 4050 in here. So this would be very much like my detail mixture. Super thin, guys. Super thin. Like I used to be super thin. Okay. Alright, let's see if I missed anything. Like waxing a car and pinstriping using one-shot paint temporarily. Wow. So many really cool tricks of the trade out there. Excuse me, guys. Let's put a little bit of this stuff in there. I may mix more of this up because it would be kind of good to, I'm going to test it out, see that my airbrush is still working on its, get rid of whatever was in there. Very nice, very much like my detail mixture. And so we'll have that on the side, and now we're going to kind of revisit some of these darks. And let me get rid of some of anything that might be on the painting there. So we're going to make sure that this is on correctly. It lines up. This is super important. Let's see. It's not always easy, but I think this is good. And what it's going to do is going to reestablish my darks. And let's put some more light on the subject there. It's important that I get this right. Okay, once I feel it's right, then I'm going to get that magnet on there ASAP. Okay, now I can just slightly adjust. You know, you did a lot of hard work to this extent, so you don't want to undo it. Just watch out for the shadows that the magnets are making. Okay. Alright, so now we're in good shape, everybody, for the next step. And let's see here. Dwayne says one of his favorites for textures is use dryer sheets. You can stretch them for great random textures. I've seen someone do that for clouds. And you do that for other textures as well, Dwayne? Love to hear your knowledge. And thanks for sharing it, guys. I mean, this is great knowledge that we're all really enjoying, me especially. So thank you. So I'm just going to, with this, so here we are, detail sepia. I did it 4:1 because it came out a little thick with the bottle, out of the bottle. So I like painting thin in the beginning. So that's my story. Reestablishing the dark in between her lips. Do I have, oh, I do have an eyebrow here. So I'll do one layer, just kind of let it sit there, and then we'll do a second layer. Sometimes I like to just kind of move all the magnets up further and see if I'm getting the angle and everything well. That's looking really good. Okay, we're okay. He's okay. Let's see. Just put this here. Alright, so let that dry a little bit, and then we're going to go over it again. Just kind of bringing back some of the detail we may have lost doing the color underpainting. And we're going to kind of put some, you know, more red color in there. But right now we're just establishing some of the darks. Re-establishing some of the darks. Okay. So let that, we'll just hit that one more time. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's good for now. And let's, so do I have anything up here I might have missed? No. And now I have this like super detailed sepia, and it's like 4:1 thin, so maybe I can do a little detail here and there. But it might be a little premature because I'm going to go over the crease of the eyelid. So, you know, I kind of stop myself from going too detailed, you know. I have to. Someone's got to stop me. So there we are, bringing back some of the darks here. And, oh, you see how I, right here, I spilled a little paint from the thing going down. So tonight I'm going to actually take this off. I won't let this stay here because in the future that can only cause problems. And so definitely not letting that stay. But I can come in with this super detail mixture here, and I can see if I can, let's see how my detail is working. Oh, we're getting some nice detail here. Okay. All right. Freehand airbrush time. Okay. Now, let's just kind of make this happen. Of course, I'll blow this out later, but we'll just kind of make sure we don't lose our hard work. There we go. And you know, I don't know if I don't think I strained the sepia, so that's not good. You know, you want to always make sure that we strain the paint. So it's just not good. It never helps not to strain the paint. So it takes a little bit longer to go in with everything, but I'm really knowing if I want to have like a really good painting session, then I really should be straining that paint. No, there's no excuse out there of not straining the paint. Just kind of pulling back some of the detail that I might have lost going in with the color underpainting, right? And let's bring in back some of her But I think it's important because a lot of people, especially with portraits, they don't know how to begin. And it's kind of scary, and I know it is. And this is a way kind of to relieve the scariness of it and kind of bring back some of the darks. I mean, bring the color and know that you can come back and kind of revisit the detail you might have lost. So it's okay. Ryan says, yes, Dwayne, he's tried that too. Works great. Oh, that's fantastic. And Michael says, yeah, Dwayne, when we had sewing threads, we used that wax on it also for making spark plug wires. Wow. And Dwayne says all kinds of textures, stretch them for depending on the texture. Oh, great information. Thank you, sir. So we're going to reestablish some of, so right there you can see we're getting this really nice underpainting with color. So a good beginning of the color, which is great. And let's go and work on some of the darks in her hand. And we probably don't need the shield at this point. There we go. Just sort of bring some of that detail in between her fingers. Kind of hit the darks a little bit. Might be premature because we're going to have to put the white there. We might have some. You always want to avoid blue shift unless you're doing it on purpose. So for me to do the shadows is a little premature. So definitely don't want to do that. But I can come in and do some of the darks of the tendon of the hand here. And this detail, the Wicked Detail Sepia, is fantastic. Do some of those darks. And just really just, you know, coming in and just slowly working those tones. Okay, so this is a fun part I'm going to do. I'm just going to use little boy's room. I will be right back. Talks amongst yourselves. And very cool. When we come back, we're going to work on her lips. And we're going to use this color right here, Natural Lip. So that's interesting. I'll be back. thanks so much for waiting, everybody. So sorry I made a seltzer pit stop. So thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Michael says the treehouse master would love all the birch trees. Oh, cool. Love white birch. Dwayne says we had sewing thread. Okay, cool. And Ryan says, agreed, Michael. Seems like it's going to take a while, but he works darn fast. Now, are we talking about someone else's trees or my painting? Let's see. So, okay, so here's my, this is black raspberry sparkling water. So that's pretty cool. And so now we're going to work on her lips. So we have the dark color, the sepia, so we're going to leave that. And then here we have some of the, I think this was the deep olive gold. So we're going to get rid of that, the little bit we have in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clean this out really well. And then we're going to work on her lips. And I have kind of a really interesting freehand stencil on that, which I want to show you all. Let's see. And this will kind of bring us to the end of the live stream. But I think we have a really nice base to kind of work from. And then we could slowly go from the lifeline, which is the illustration, into the Wicked. And Dennis over at Createx, he said it works perfectly as an underpainting for Wicked, which is great. Oh, so let's see. Oh, so we're talking about, now are we talking about your guitar you're working on, Mr. Leahy? Because that is really impressive. Especially how you painted your dad is just outrageously wonderful. Really loved it. So tomorrow on your live stream at 1, what are you working on, Steve? Will it be a 543 or will you be working on the guitar? So I'm going to definitely, I should be there. So, you know, so I'm looking forward to that. Tim, we were talking about the guitar. Oh my God, that guitar is amazing, isn't it? Yes, that's an amazing guitar. I mean, the way that, you know, it's coming and with Sgt. Pepper's and everything, that's going to be great. Really great. So now I have my Extreme Patriot 105 and I cleaned it out pretty good. And I want to just use a little bit of this because it's just the lips, and you know, I'm not a big fan of kind of using that color and going elsewhere. I'm going to be a little more succinct and a little more kind of more careful with my color choices in this particular painting. Okay, so here we are. This is 5028 and this is natural lip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make more of this and I'm going to put that in one of my bottles. So this particular painting is going to have the bottles that I'm working with. And so far I have hardly drawn away any paint. So that's good, isn't it, guys? So now I'm going to strain it in here just a little bit. I don't need that much of it, but it is kind of thick, so I did strain it. And let me go ahead and wash this out because I need this paint strainer. I can't let it sit. So when I'm airbrushing, everybody, when I'm mindful like this, everything goes much smoother. So let me 3-to-1 this, 4011 this. Let me get another bottle of 4011 here. Just got to locate my 4011. Believe it or not, I'm much more organized than in the past, so that's good. Let's see, did I use this one? Not yet. Let's open it. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this 3-to-1. There we go. So it's nice and thin, right? And we're just going to mix this. And I'm going to show you this freehand stencil I made. And, you know, my thinking about it, you know, doing the upper and lower lips. Going to mix this up really well. And it's strained, remember, which is really good. And Mike says, Steve Leahy, are you noticing more in the Sgt. Pepper album cover? Wow, that's cool. I'm sure there is some like weird secrets in that. So that's something to look into. Okay, so I have this. I'm just going to put a little bit. I don't need a lot. Put that over there. And okay. I can make a little bit more and save it, so this way I don't have to re-dilute it in the future. Again, I want to make sure that my airbrush is working at a very high level. And I'm very fortunate so far, very blessed that, you know, all that prevention is really working out, you know, and so that's cool. All right, so now the lip stencil I talked about, I mentioned. Okay, so you notice that I did the crease in between the two upper and lower lip there. It's all setting up. So right here, it also has the pomegranate, but the pomegranate is definitely a different red. It's more like an alizarin crimson. So just want to line this up, the upper and lower lip. Okay, that looks good. Alright, so now I kind of peeled it back. So you see how I can peel back the upper lip, keep the lower lip, or vice versa? So that's what I'm doing. That's my thinking with this. So see, I'm going to zoom in and you'll see what I mean. See how I set that up so the upper lip is covered and the lower lip is uncovered? See that? And then I can do that again. So now I'm going to do the lower lip first. It's all like chess, everybody. That's what it is. I might have over diluted this, but let's see. It's always good to go lighter first. There we go. So we're just like working in pastel. So remember how oils help my airbrush, so does pastel help my airbrush. So I highly recommend working in different mediums just to have a come at it from a different point of view, you know. Dwayne says he was partial to Eddie Maiden's Troopers from the 543. Yeah, that was great. And I'm sure that the guitar will be sick. Definitely. His favorite Beatles album was released. I would say your favorite Beatles album is Rubber Soul. Let me see if I got that right. See how I'm just ever so lightly putting that in? I'm just establishing, right? This is not the end all and be all. So I'm going to lift this and I'm going to put this one back. And we're going to cover this bottom lip, and then the top lip we're going to expose. See how that, it's called sequential masking, and I love it. I love it. So now we're going to come back with this here, and then we'll come back and we'll slowly darken it, but I'm just establishing this, right, which is important. So try that. So at first it's going to really not do anything, but you just let it dry, go to the next layer. Remember, the upper lip is usually darker than the lighter lip, so that's what we're going to be working on eventually. So what's happening is that with the underpainting, it's a little bit darker than this, so we're going to go ahead and you know, do one layer and another layer, because we're just going to just kind of establish it, right? That's it. Oh, I think Rubber Soul and the Baby Dolls was the album cover. Oh, Rubber Soul, I think Revolver was the one with the babies. I might be wrong, my friend. You know? And so Steve Leahy says, I think a bit of both. Fortunately, a lot of the figures are not very detailed. Oh, cool. So what would you do? Would you look for some more different references to kind of make up the difference of the, let's say, the nasolabial fold and some of the anatomy? Is that something you might do? Or very interested to hear how you would handle that. So let's see. So you see, I went ahead and did both lips, and now we can remove this. I love doing the lip stencil this way. See that? And really just kind of establishing her likeness a little bit more. But really just, so try that. You know, you wanna be able to go back and revisit all that detail, right? You don't want to lose it. You work so hard in the drawing, you work so hard in the underpainting, you don't want to lose it. And Yesterday and Today, the Butcher album. Oh wow, that's cool. Now I know the Capitol. There's two versions of Beatle albums: the Capitol Records one and the EMI. I always like the EMI versions better, the UK version. I do love Help, the EMI version, and I do love Rubber Soul. Those are two of my favorites. Uh, Now I know if you own Rubber Soul, it's quite a collector's album. Now own the baby one, it's worth a lot. Okay, I said I wasn't going to come in with this red, but I'm going to do it anyway. And when I said red, all I meant was the Lifeline Natural Lip. So we used basically the Lifeline today. A lot of advantages using the Lifeline. In the beginning, you can erase with it. It's very erasable. You can mix with 4011 or water. So it's great. And plus, the Lifeline, you know, you save them and they'll last for a very long time. And that's what I did. I'm saving everything. So as I come in next week, when we work on her even more, it's going to get, you know, further and further. Michael says, now, who was the better songwriter, Paul McCartney or John Lennon? Good question. That's a great question. Ryan says he's got to sign off. Thanks for the super chat, Ryan. Thanks for hanging out with me. And thank you for, you know, being there as we develop this. And so I really appreciate it. Love my Canadian friends. My friends up north. And let's see, Stephen says, big question. Lennon was a visionary. McCartney could write the hits. I think they were perfect together because John was edgy and Paul was soft and lovable. So together, it kept John from getting too edgy, and it kept Paul from going too mushy. So together, I think they were just amazing. I think that's what did it. Mr. Brad says, looking great, Tim. Thanks for another great live stream. Thanks for the super chat, Brad. Always a pleasure. Another one of my Canadian friends. Appreciate you a lot, sir. And so I have this wonderful right here, the Natural Lip by Lifeline. And we are going to break my rule. And I'm just going to come in with a little bit of this natural lip color. Just kind of add some life to her, right? Why not? So, you know, we have a long way to go, but what a nice start. And this is a start that you can do as well, right? You can slowly ease into, Todd, have a great night. Always a pleasure. And we can all agree that Yoko sounds like a cat in the blender. Oh my goodness, that's funny. And I'm just doing freehand here because I'm only got 1 minute left. And just everyone, thanks so much. You guys are just amazing for the amazing support. You know, thank you, Mike McClung, for the super chat. Dave Gregory, thank you so much. You're amazing. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, Ryan. You guys are just like, you know, I'm really touched and overwhelmed by your support. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. We had like 19 people at one time in the room, so it's getting like more and more popular. You guys are just so amazing. It's an honor, Steve, to have you here. Everyone's an honor. Dwayne and Steve, for your information. It's an honor, Michael. Thanks so much. We may have an impromptu live stream. Those who haven't subscribed, subscribe, because all of a sudden I'll send out an email. And also not only email, but if you hit that bell icon and you're subscribed, you'll be alerted when I go ahead and put a video or impromptu live stream. Guys, take care. Nick, thanks so much. Great information about your dad. Everyone, you are all amazing. I hope to talk to you on live stream, Instagram, all over the internet during the week. Have a great weekend. And thanks again for an amazing Wednesday. Thanks, Dwayne. Dwayne says hit the like button. Bye, guys, and stay warm.